Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Monday, September 13th, 2021. And because it's a Monday, we're going to do a Monday mukbang. Today, I don't have food, but decided that I would try and do something that I just couldn't wait for this. I really am excited to try it. It came in the mail for me a couple of days ago. So let me adjust this camera a little bit. It came in the mail a couple of days ago, and I just really wanted to try it. The flavor sounds so delicious. It is Slate. You guys may have seen Instagram ads for it. That's how I discovered this brand. The Instagram ads got to me. So I saw the Instagram ads. I wanted to try it. And so I reached out to them and asked if they would send a couple of samples. And this is what they sent. They sent me a case of it, but these are the three flavors in the case. I've got chocolate, dark chocolate, and espresso chocolate. It's ultra filtered, lactose free milk. So if you're lactose intolerant, this is for you. It's also nut free and soy free. So if those are some other things that you're watching out for in your diet, then this could be interesting for you. So we'll be trying these today. I'm thinking I tried the soy ultra based on one of your guys' suggestions a little while ago. I really like that. And then I've just been really, I guess, influenced by all the pro athletes this year that were talking about how they drink chocolate milk after their runs. So I've just been liking milk as well. And so I thought this would be perfect to have as like an after workout and after a long run type of drink. It's got 20 grams of proteins per can and like 18 to 19 grams of carbs. There's some sugar math, and we'll go over that a little bit as well. I'm not sure how that sugar math works, but I'll tell you all about it. And we'll go over how it tastes. But first, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast. Hope you guys are having a good run out there today, and that the weather is nice and balmy for you. I had a beautiful ride today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show any of you guys any of it because I brought this camera. I thought I'd bring the GoPro Hero Max out for a test ride, and I definitely regret it. But that's what tomorrow's video will be all about. But at least I had really good weather and had a really fun time on the ride. Yeah, you guys will hear more about it tomorrow. And then I do also want to say, before we really get into the mukbang for today, say hi to everyone watching on YouTube after the fact. Hopefully you're kicking back, relaxing after work or at the end of your day and have something nice to recover with in terms of a beverage. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat. We've got Garrett. First one here says, hello, everyone. Hearing more and more how there's going to be a shoe shortage due to Vietnam and Indonesia being shut down. Use this as an excuse to get your significant others to allow you to buy more shoes now. I haven't been hearing all that much from it, but I have been hearing that there could be some disruption or like it's a little bit unpredictable, but I haven't heard anything about like a true like gloom and doom shortage, but who knows what's really going to happen. Kyle says, first track workout today felt good and he had fun, but way more tired after 6 reps than I have after 6-mile easy runs. Well, that's the intensity for you, but I'm glad to see that you're getting back out there. All right. But before I go further, I do want to say I apologize that the audio is even worse than normal today. I'm going off of just like the laptop mics because as I was plugging in everything, I'm hard on my equipment. And as I was plugging in my soundboard, the power supply cable like broke. So now I've got a dead soundboard. So, well, I guess I just need to get a new sound power supply, but I've been planning to upgrade that thing anyway. But so it happened like 2 minutes before the live stream started. So I'm without sound or just have to use whatever's on the computer. So apologize for that. Kevin Bickerton says, hi, Coach, great weekend of running action. Did a 10-miler in 1:16:55. That's nice. Nice and speedy. He recovered by watching the Great North Run. Very cool. That was an interesting run. I wish I would have gotten up to watch it. I unfortunately didn't. But the elite field was star-studded for sure. And it looked like it would have been a very interesting race to watch. All right. Steve says, I like the looks of these drinks, and he's happy with lactose. Well, I think with that, we should get started. So I'm thinking, should we go? I think, you know what? I think I'm going to save this espresso chocolate one for last, even though I was thinking let's go from like chocolate to espresso chocolate to dark chocolate. Because it's got the caffeine in it. I think I'm going to want that one. Let's start with the chocolate. Chocolate ultra-filtered milk. I mentioned that there's some sugar math on here. So here's the sugar math. You can see on the back. So there's 18 grams of carbs in this can. 12 of them are from allulose, and 4 of them are fiber. So it's 2 net carbs. So like, I'm not sure what that means. again, I think I need to find a registered dietitian who can explain some of that stuff to me, or someone that can explain it to me. But in the meantime, I forgot, you're supposed to shake it slowly, gently, and crack slowly, right? So I didn't give it too much of a shake, although I've been handling, so I think that's gonna be fine. And we'll crack it open. Cheers to you guys. It smells great. It smells like a chocolate pastry. This is really good. There's something in it that doesn't quite taste like a milk chocolate. So it doesn't taste like regular chocolate milk, like the kind of chocolate milk I make for my kids. For my kids, I make them like regular whole milk or like 2% milk with like Hershey's chocolate syrup. So it's not as like cloyingly sweet as that, which I appreciate. And I can't tell if like the other thing that I'm tasting is more of like a dark like cocoa flavor or what it is. It's almost like there's something fruity in it. Now, one of the ingredients on this is monk fruit. So I don't know if that's what I'm tasting. But there's also chicory in here, which I tend to not like chicory, but I don't really taste, I'm not getting a strong chicory flavor from this. So maybe it's the allulose. I don't know what allulose is, but this is good. This is certainly way more delicious than I would say than pretty much all of the protein shakes that I normally have. And most of the protein shakes that I have after a workout tend to be in like the 15 to 20 grams of carbs grams of protein per serving. So like in terms of that, it's equivalent, at least if you're just looking at the grams of protein. And then there is 220 milligrams of salt, which I appreciate, 315 milligrams of potassium, which I think is a lot. So you're getting some electrolytes back and some vitamin A, 220 mcg. Is that micrograms? I'm not sure how to read that, but this definitely tasty. The chocolate milk is good. I like it. All right. Casey A says, hey, Conco, have a Black Cat 10 miler in Salem this weekend. Getting one more speed day in. All right. Good luck, Casey. Black Cat 10 miler. That sounds like fun. I like that. Adam Pierce says, we got to talk about the Vienna Marathon winner DQ'd for running in the 50 millimeter Primex. Yeah, it was even on CNN this morning. On CNN, they were like, and here's how I think you can tell if someone is talking to you about it because it was like interestingly newsworthy, or if like they were already like aware of like the running scene and also found it newsworthy that way. But on CNN, they kept referring to the shoe sizes or like the stack heights in centimeters. So they were like, the winner wore a 5 centimeter shoe when 4 centimeter shoes are the maximum allowed. And I was like, oh, I know 50 millimeters is 5 centimeters, but I've never heard of anyone talking about it in those terms. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And so, yeah, I think it's crazy. And you know what? If you guys been following it, as soon as like I found out about the story, like as I was posting my latest Primex video, and what's funny is I found out about it from Quan Walker, who is a South African journalist and photographer. I think he's a photographer, journalist. I don't know. I've been following him on Twitter for a long time, and he was talking all about it, and I just thought this was an amazing story. And he's been getting some follow-up too, because he was like, there's supposed to be a tech briefing like the day before. You were supposed to have presented your shoes, like what you were going to wear before, kind of like an equipment check. Like that kind of thing is normal for track and field. Like you get your implements weighed, you make sure everything's legal. It's not as common in the running world. Not that, like regular people are probably very unfamiliar with that. Like when you and I sign up for a 10K, 5K, we don't have to like check in our shoes or anything. But, from my experience in like triathlon, the one time I did one, they looked at the bikes and stuff to make sure that they followed certain basic safety, parameters and stuff. So like, there's an equipment check, and there was for this race. And apparently at the race, he showed them a pair of Adios Pro 2. And then somehow on race day, he had the Primex on his feet. And so people are like, that's crazy. How did that happen? And apparently someone found a tweet from the runner's manager, and the manager was just like completely throwing him under the bus. He was just like, I don't know how he made that mistake. He must have accidentally put on his trainers rather than his racing shoes. Like there's no attempt at all of the manager to try to like either make the runner seem less. Either the runner did it very intentionally or very carelessly. And there was no attempt to massage the facts at all. And maybe there's like something lost in the translation. I don't think English was the trainer's native language. I don't know if he's Italian or something like that, but I don't know. An Italian sounding name, I think, if I remember correctly. So it was it's been a crazy story. But for me, like what makes it more crazy is that like people are now going to like the Primex video because like they're hearing about this shoe and then they're doing Google searches, and I'm guessing that the Primex video is popping up, and it's like they're like telling me like, well, did you guys hear that there was a guy that got disqualified? And I just want to point out, I'm like, I'm someone that has this shoe. I bought the shoe. I've made a video about the shoe, wherein in the video I spent like several minutes talking about how the shoe is technically illegal. And for the most part, for the vast majority of us in the world, it doesn't matter that it's technically beyond the scope of the rules. But if you're trying to set a world record, qualify for the Olympics, or maybe if you're going to win a race and want prize money, that's how it might affect you. And so like all that being said, people are like trying to tell me about it as if like I would be surprised or wouldn't know. I don't know. I mean, I think it's very interesting how people are like, people try to lord information over you in weird ways. I think it's really funny. It's really crazy. Yeah, Adam's like, yeah, he did present his shoes, but changed them on race day. I'm just like, Super Small says, is it me or the picture blurry? I think I look clear today. Sorry about that. Maybe let's change. Yeah, I need to maybe if I brighten up a little bit, it'll come through a little better. Yeah, but yeah, but I think it is interesting that like, why would you even pack those shoes? So let's say you're going. I mean, the runner was Ethiopian, right? I don't know where he trains. Maybe he trains in Europe. So maybe this was like a local race, and maybe he lives in Vienna. Maybe this is his hometown race. I don't know. But like, let's say I were to travel like in December. I'm going to go to CIM. I'm going to be I'm actually hopefully maybe going to Texas the week like earlier in the week for the running event, like a retailer's running convention. I'm going to go to that from like Tuesday to Thursday. And then Thursday night, I'll be going to California. That will be the week before my race as, a complete and total non-elite amateur. At no point in there do I think that I'm going to be bringing like will I need a shoe like the Primex, right? I'll have my race shoes with me. I might do one kind of like little mini workout earlier in the week while I'm in Texas. But I'll probably just do it in my race shoe, right? So like, especially if I'm traveling, because then I could just bring less stuff. Like, there's no reason to pack the shoe. You didn't even have. You could have like made it so simple. Don't bring it. Just don't bring it at all. Like I like that's where I'm like, why even like? I mean, I guess on the other hand, like on the one hand, you're like, why would you even let yourself make an accidental mistake like that? And on the other hand, I'm like, well, like, why would you even think that you could possibly ever make that mistake? I don't know. It's just so crazy. Frank does say that. Frank, he's so funny. He's like, I once ran a cross-country race in Vans because I forgot to bring my running shoes. Do you think? No, but he had the Adios Pro 2 with him, though. He brought them. He showed them to people the day before. So he had both shoes for that event. So Daniel M wants to know who's putting on the Texas running event. I don't remember. I don't know the name of it. It's called the running event, right? Yeah, TRE, the running event. It's like for people that like own or work at like Fleet Feet and stuff like that. So there'll be like buyers and like there are brands there. And so like I'm going to be going on the media. They keep saying that they're going to be sending out a link so you can request media credentials. So I'm going to request media credentials. so I can go down there. I think it should be fun. I don't think the general public can go unless you're a retailer. Although I guess you could probably just buy ticket. I don't know. It's not. It's kind of like CES, which it isn't like. It's like the closest thing that I can think of to like CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, where it's not really for the public, but members of the public and media go. So I'm not sure. I don't know. Kyle thinks that the whole Primex confusion thing was clearly on purpose. I mean, I think so. But here's the other really funny part about the fact that I made a Primex video like at the exact same time that this guy got disqualified for winning a race in the Primex. So it was my second Primex video that I made. The first one that I made, I was just like, this is a fun shoe. I'm not sure I understand it yet, but it's a lot of fun. You might break an ankle, but it's a lot of fun. And what's hilarious is like even now, like even after I don't remember his name, but even after the runner got disqualified for winning a marathon, running a 2:09 marathon and winning a race in the shoes, people are like, this shoe's too heavy. Why would anyone ever want to race in those? I'm like, people are willing to cheat to run in this one. Like, do you get it now? Do you understand it now? People are just really, really funny on the internet. So it's just been very, very like I'm getting just like it's very meta, like the whole internet experience of me and the Primex, just from like everyone, the way that lots of different people are responding to it. Yeah. Martha says when she has a marathon trip, she's gonna start laying out what she wants to take a week before departure, check in and rechecking that it's all in the suitcase. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how. Like, it makes it hard for me to think that it was an honest mistake. I don't know if he thought like, what's the big deal? Like, I'm not trying to set a world record, and I'm not going to use this qualifying time to like. Maybe he didn't need a qualifying time. Like I don't think the Olympic window is open yet to qualify for the next Olympic marathon. Am I wrong on that? So maybe he thought like between those two things, it wouldn't matter all that much. At best, that's like the best thing I could think of. Like, I don't know. Martha says about the TRE. She says, I remember seeing the endorphin line from TRE on YouTube and everyone was going nuts over it. Yeah. Yeah. That's where they like actually did the announcement for it there. All right. Let's hit this espresso chocolate. This is the only one that they sent me that has caffeine in it. And it's got 150 milligrams of caffeine. Where is it? There we go. So that's a good amount. Get a cup of coffee here. Shake and then slowly open. Smells exactly like the chocolate. This is very nice. It's almost like, well, I have a dark chocolate one to taste next, so that'll be interesting, but it's almost like a darker chocolate compared to the chocolate. But this is really good. I like it. I would probably like it to be even a little bit more kind of like coffee bitter. You can go for a little bit stronger of a coffee flavor. It still has a little bit of that sweetness to it. I don't know if that's just what lactose-free milk tastes like, or if that's the allulose, or the monk fruit, or the chicory. I'm not sure what it is, but there's like a very distinctive flavor to it. But I taste fruit. Maybe just the cold chocolate just has a fruity bouquet. I'm not sure. But this is good. This is good. I'm tasting a little bit more of that coffeeness right now, though. These are very drinkable. Like 3 sips and the can's like I'm just putting them back. This is tasty. This is really, really good. 140 milligrams of salt, so less salt than the chocolate. But 445 milligrams of potassium. How much potassium does a banana have? You know, see, that'd be like the dream drink for me. If it made eating bananas completely unnecessary for me, it'd be like my dream food. But these are good. I really like these. Very, very tasty. All right. Let's see. Daniel M says, Texas group run? Yeah, we'll definitely do some sort of group run at Texas because, like, I'm going to be there. I think I'm going to go. I don't know that I'll necessarily need to go to all 3 days of it. I think it's like one of those things where it starts in the afternoon one day, there's like a full day and then like a half day. So like, I'm not sure exactly how long I'll be there, but I won't be as much of a rush to leave because I'll be going straight to California from there. But we'll figure out sometimes to do some sort of run while I'm down there. I think it's usually in Austin, I think. And that's where it was the last time I was supposed to go. The last 2 times that I've heard of it was in Austin. I think it's in Austin again. So yeah. So we'll definitely have to do something. Frank says, if the Brighton Marathon organizers can screw up that badly, so could a runner mistake happen? Is that the race where they over measured? Right? There was a marathon over the weekend that I thought ended up being like 500 meters too long. Is that it? I think it's funny. Yeah, but you know what? The Milwaukee Marathon mismeasured the race twice in a row. And so, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that marathon because they mismeasured it. It was short the first year, and then they hired a different company to do the course and the measurements the second year, and they measured it short again, I think. And then the third year after that was like the year it was canceled because of the pandemic. So like, I just don't, how do you recover from like 3 years like that if you're the Milwaukee Marathon? I'm not sure if they're still doing it. But oh my goodness, that's so funny. Shannon says, hi, Famzy, Texas, what'd I miss? Yeah, no, I'm just talking about the running event is in Texas. I think it's going to be the first week of December. They haven't put out like the way to like request the media credentials yet. I even talked to Thomas about it and I'm like, hey, you guys don't know about how to do that yet, do you? And he's like, no, like we email every week. And I'm like, I email every week. So I'm like, they're getting a total of 2 emails every week in terms of when are the media credentials going to be going out. And so like we're trying to figure out when we can do it. But you know, we're going to go down there and check out what the brands are going to be talking about in the next year. So I'm excited. And Martha wants to know, speaking of Austin, have you been in touch with cousin Jamie? Is he okay? You know, I haven't talked to him lately, but I did see him, like, you know, when you're on Instagram and it tells you like who else of the people that you know have liked a photo, he's shown up in a bunch of photos. So he's been on social media, but you know, I don't know. Matthew Wanamaker says, can we call a 25-mile run in Milwaukee a Milwaukee Marathon? That's going to be the new word. I think that any run over 20 miles, but not 26.2, I'm going to call a Milwaukee Marathon from now on. Oh, my goodness. That's so funny. Mika Kataya says, the Adios Pro 2s are available in new colors at the Adidas site in his sizes. Want is currently really challenging the need portion of the brain. It's a really good shoe. I really like it. I'm going to be running in it this week. I think this week for my workouts, I'll be running in. So I'll have 3 sessions this week. I think I'm going to do the sessions in the Endorphin Pro, the Endorphin Pro 2, Adios Pro 2. And then for my long run this weekend, I think I'm going to do the RC Elite 2. So that's what I'm going to be running in this week. Yeah, Jason Dahl says about a Milwaukee Marathon, I'd be so upset if I thought I PR'd a marathon and then it turned out to be short and not official. Imagine if you were trying to be cute. That's where people got really fired up. So like it didn't matter. And there's just no like way to say like, well, you know, you were short by like a quarter mile, so we'll extrapolate out. They don't do that. So like if it doesn't count, it doesn't count. So it really made people mad. But can you imagine how mad you would be if you're like, I like doing my hometown race. I don't want to have to travel. There's enough stress for trying to BQ a marathon. I did it last year. I know I could do it this year. They got a new company measuring. We're going to be great. And then they mess it up 2 years in a row. Like, I just don't know how. I just don't know. I just don't know how. Oh, man. Cal Patton says, hey, the Takumi Sen 8 looks sweet, eh? That Takumi Sen 8, I want it. I heard it doesn't come out till December. It's a bummer. But it looks amazing. And you know what it has me thinking? Well, if it comes out in December, that Masters Indoor Championship is going to be, it's indoor. It's in the winter. So maybe I'll pick it up for my indoor track shoe. Because I don't really like running in spikes or flats, I think. Yeah. Martha says, I didn't know that there's a Takumi Sen 8 already. Yeah, it looks amazing. It just broke the 5K men's and women's records, right? Yeah, I think so. But Adidas had an event, basically a world record breaking event where around their campus in Germany, I don't know what city it's in, but in Germany, they created a course with a minimal number of turns. And they had a bunch of their athletes come and try to break the 5K, 10K, and half marathon records. Is that right? So, yeah. So, like, that shoe did really well on that day. So now I'm, like, super excited to check out that shoe. And Ken O. Bowman says that Marathon Milwaukee is not the major Milwaukee Marathon. The major one is the Milwaukee Lakefront Marathon. I think that's important. I don't want to lump all the Milwaukee marathons together. So thanks, Ken, for the clarification. For sure. It's still such a funny story. Aditya Roy says it's really late in India. Good night, Kofamzi. Just want to jump in, see how it's going. Well, thanks for staying up for us, Aditya. Good to see you. See you on the next live stream, he says. Nyko, good night to you, sir. All right. Frank says, will the Takumi Sen 8 come out in the U.S. this time? I thought the Takumi Sen 7 came out in the U.S. Am I wrong on that? I thought it did. But yeah, I'm hoping to get my hands on the Takumi Sen 8. Garino Both said the Boston 10s are about to come in tomorrow and he's excited. Awesome. And the Chicago Marathon, worth the travel from Germany. I would say that, I've never traveled to a world major marathon. So I can't say that it's worth it. The only marathon that I've traveled to, I've traveled to Houston and to Indianapolis. And I got to say, I enjoy traveling for marathons. So to travel from Germany, I would say for a world major like Chicago, I think it would be worth it. I will say that in Chicago, the running community here loves traveling to Germany for the Berlin Marathon. And it's something that I would like to do as well. And I know that Berlin typically tends to go like a couple weeks before Chicago does. And so what a lot of people do is they'll go to Germany, they'll go to Berlin for the marathon. It's right around Oktoberfest time then, isn't it? So they'll stick around Europe for a little while, hang out, and they'll come to Chicago afterwards to do that double. So I think it's not, I wouldn't say popular, but it's something that I've definitely heard of a number of people doing. Like anytime that I'm running the Chicago Marathon, I always see Berlin Marathon bibs, like from that year. So like people are doing that double. I think it's pretty cool. Affluent Journey wants to know, should I drill holes in the Mach 4 to deal with the Florida heat? Or is there a highly breathable daily I should look at? I'm trying to think, what is the most breathable daily trainer? I feel like the Endorphin Speed is not exactly a daily trainer, but I feel like it's a pretty breathable shoe. I like the Rebel version 2. I never thought that the Mach 4 was terribly hot, but I'm also not running in Florida heat. So it just might be that, it's Florida heat. Your shoes are going to get wet every run, I think, no matter what. I'm trying to think. I'll keep thinking about that, see if I can think of anything. Someone asked me earlier, where did it go? About winter shoes. Where'd it go? Tefon Arley says, what's your favorite winter shoes, Shield Series, or my favorite winter shoes are Gore-Tex shoes. I know some people think that Gore-Tex shoes are silly, but I love Gore-Tex shoes because I tend to run in a lot of snow and slush. So I don't want something that drains water out. I want something that keeps water out of the shoe entirely for as long as possible. So I like Gore-Tex shoes. Sometimes that's just regular running shoes that have a Gore-Tex upper, like the Challenger from Hoka has a Gore-Tex version, and the Peg Trails have Gore-Tex versions, so I love those. But in the wintertime, I've been finding myself running in trail shoes, and the trail shoes that I like are typically like not super intense trail shoes. They're like the crossover variety where you can run on roads, you can run on trail, do a little bit of both. I like to run in those for the wintertime because, I feel like that's the right amount of kind of traction that I need for the kind of running that I tend to do. And if I could get it in Gore-Tex, that's pretty much perfect for me. That's all I really kind of want. So those tend to be my favorite. I really did enjoy the Peg Trail Gore-Tex. That was really good. Also in the winter, I ran a lot in the Fresh Foam More Trail, even though it wasn't a Gore-Tex upper. It was just really tall shoe and just fun to run in the winter. When else did I run in a lot? I ran in the Brooks Catamount as well. So when I wanted to go a little bit faster, that was a shoe that worked out well for me. All right. Well, let's get to... Ooh, Garrett says that the Lone Peaks have an all-weather version. Ooh, that's interesting. I do like the Lone Peaks. And Mika says, I still haven't had the heart to throw away the Speed Goat 4 GTXs. I didn't know the Speed Goat 4 came in a GTX. Oh. Even though they have over 1,100 kilometers in them. That's durability. You might use them for one more winter, and it doesn't matter in the snow if the EVA is compressed or not. That's true. It's like an extra layer of cushion, I would say, when you're running on snow. So, all right. Let's get to the last flavor, the dark chocolate for today. This one does not have any caffeine in it, as far as I'm aware. But, 18 grams carbs, 160 milligrams of sodium, 20 grams of protein, 248 milligrams of potassium. See, these all have a pretty decent amount of calcium, too, 550 milligrams, and some vitamin D as well. So I always forget to shake it and then open it, but okay. Cheers. This one, I think this is my favorite one. It's the least sweet, and I felt like the other ones had like that little like fruitiness to it that I thought was not off-putting, but a little bit just noticeable in a way. So it's a little bit of a surprise. This just tastes like chocolate milk for adults. Not like, it's not like it's got booze in it, but it just tastes like chocolate milk if you wanted to make like a chocolate milk for an adult palate. This is it. This is good. The chocolate is really nice on it. Not super sweet. Really, this is good. I'm just going to finish this early. There's a little left, but I'll get to it soon. But that's really good. These Slate drinks, really super tasty. I really enjoy these. So like, I really love protein powders because I feel like I usually get them shipped. And so I like the idea that you're shipping something that's lighter. So one tub of powder is like the equivalent of shipping like a couple of cases of liquids. These come like pre-mixed in liquid, so that's like a drawback. But on the other hand, they are a lot more convenient. So you just put them in the fridge, reach for one after a run, already chilled, no mixing needed, slam it back, and you got your 20 grams of protein right after your run. I like it. I like it. This is good. I never thought I'd be a convert to the chocolate milk after running kind of thing, but these have me convinced. It's good. And I do think that there are a lot of protein shakes that are out there that don't have any sugar in it. And I do like to have a little bit of sugar in my recovery drink or my after workout drink. So this is working for me. I really like it. All right. We've got a couple more on some winter running. And you guys are ready to talk about winter running already? Martha says the Endorphin Speed Run Shield is water repellent, so it might be good in light rain drizzle. The Alto is tackier also than the regular. Yeah, but it's not thicker. Like I know that they made the endorphin trail, which hasn't been that well received, it seems. Um, but I was thinking, maybe they would put like, I think it would have been really interesting if they had something like almost kind of like a waffle pattern. Not that they would have put a waffle pattern on it, but something more like that. Just give it a little bit more coverage, a little bit more tread, um, for some more inclement weather. Then I think it would have been a little bit more interesting. But like the way that they did it, and I'm not a fan of the blue. I don't know that I'm going to try that one, but it's interesting. Interesting. Affluent Journey says he went to the running store and they suggested the Brooks Aurora, the BLs. Yeah, they're $200. I don't know about that shoe. I've seen one pair in the wild. I know that people that run in them tend to really like them. So like I think I'm not saying that there's I'm not saying that they're waste of money, but I'm a little bit skeptical on it. But I'm glad to see that Brooks is experimenting, doing something different than they normally do. I'm always gonna encourage companies to do that. And Calruns Boulder says, would love it if Duve Balance made a Gore-Tex Rebel 2. It's way too breathable for winter, but has been the favorite all summer. Ooh, I think now you're onto something. I really like that idea. A winter Rebel. There we go. I like that. I mean, I just feel like there's not enough companies that are using snow camo. I love snow camo. And like kind of like the Craft Ultra Carbon that came in like that, like digital zebra camo. Like I love that kind of stuff. There's a brand, I forget the name of it, but there's a snowboard and ski apparel company that like I was really close to buying like a snowboarding outfit to run in the winter because I just felt like I really love the design, but I just didn't know how functional it would be for running. But I felt like, man, if this is designed for people to be snowboarding out all day, like spending like 8-10 hours, outside, they can certainly go for a Sub-Zero run in it. And it's designed for physical activity. So I felt like that would be something that I could use. So like, I don't know, maybe if I see it this year, I'll pick some up. But, I think that like, I love winter running. I'm a cold weather runner. And I hope that there are more options for cold weather running, both apparel and sneakers this year. But I've also been saying like for the last like 3-4 years in a row that like this is the year where like there's going to be a super high demand for winter running shoes. I don't know that it's ever going to really happen, but I'm always just super excited. That's just the thing, I guess, that I'll just always geek out over is just winter running shoes and Gore-Tex running shoes. Speaking of winter running, Jeff Light says, it's 90 degrees where he is. The humidity is no longer completely unreasonable, so he's looking forward to running after work. It's crazy to be like, it's 90s, but it's going to be not as bad as it's been. That is crazy. That is crazy. Adam is adamant, though. It's still summer. Andrew Bostic is here. What's going on, Andrew? Says, school let out early today because of bad weather. And you can finally watch it live. Awesome. He says, do you think the Saucony Endorphin Speed would do well on a sub 25K? Yeah, I think so. But I think that you could also take the Endorphin Pro out if you have access to those too. The Endorphin Pro, though, feels a little bit taller of a shoe. So if it's like really close cornering, then maybe not so good. But for the Endorphin Speed, yeah, I think that would be great for running a sub 25K. Depending on the terrain, though. I mean, if we're talking about like, grassy, hilly, maybe not so much. But, if you're doing 5K on the roads or something that's going to be relatively buffed out, then I think you're going to be great. Thomas Villa says, the winter running talk is helping him. It's going to be 110 plus today. It's just imaginary numbers. Oh, I can't even imagine. I feel for you, Thomas. Oh, that's hot. He's in Phoenix, though. I've been thinking about Phoenix. I was looking up the other day. Black Canyon. It's in February. It's Valentine's Day weekend. It's 100K. I haven't been in Phoenix in a while. The last time I was in Phoenix was when the NCAA announced that they were canceling March Madness. So that was the last time I was in Phoenix. That was also the last. Well, it's not the last trip I went on, but it was the last like pre-pandemic trip that I went on. So it's been a while. I like running out in Phoenix. Tracy Smith says, I've already started panicking over race day temperatures. Bring on the cold weather. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to cooler temps. But I mean, like, it's hard to like imagine that like Chicago's 4 weeks away as of yesterday. It's hard to imagine that it's going to be like there's some years where it's like really like just painfully cold. And there's some years where it's dangerously hot. So like, I don't know. I feel like if anything, if I'm going to guess, and 4 weeks out, it's a guess, I'm going to guess hot. I'm not going to guess cold. I'm going to guess a hot year. So yeah, just putting that out there, I guess. Well, is it 4 weeks away or is it 3 weeks away? I don't know. I don't even know anymore. It's coming up soon. Garrett says, the fact that New Balance hasn't done a Rebel in the Star Wars Rebel colors is a lost opportunity. I think so, but I also think that that kind of co-branding is probably very expensive. That's my hunch. Nika says the Craft CTM Ultras, the non-carbon ones, could be a really good winter shoe, and they're on big discount now. The Swedes know how to make winter training stuff. Yeah, they do. Someone was asking me on Twitter, or not asking me, someone was saying on Twitter that Rock and Roll, like the half marathon series, and they do marathons as well, and 5Ks, but like they switched like their title partner to Craft. And so now like there is like a special like Rock and Roll edition shoes that they're making. I don't know which shoe I think they're doing it with the Daily Trainer. I forget what that one's called. And they're like making them with the logos of the different races. I don't know if that's just like collector's items or if they're like making a lot of them to sell or what, but people are like, what are Craft shoes like? I'm like, well, Craft makes really great apparel. I love the winter apparel. They started making like cross-country skiing and cycling apparel. So, they know how to make stuff that you could sweat in the winter and, move around and be fine. And so like Craft, the apparel is my favorite for winter, like middle of winter running. That's my favorite. The CTM Ultra Carbon, I think I have a pre-production version. It has some rough edges, literally, but otherwise it's a very exciting shoe. I haven't run in the non-carbon version. Maybe I'll take a look at that one in the winter. I like the idea of that one in the winter. JC says, have you considered smashing a half marathon after your marathon? Possibly the flat Houston course. I do definitely want to have like a redemption run in Houston. I don't know that it'll be this year. I don't know if it'll be 2022. I would like to put Black Canyon on my calendar for February. Then a half marathon, that half marathon could make a lot of sense. Or maybe just the marathon itself would make a lot of sense too as a workout run. But I'm also hoping that children's vaccines come through sooner than later. And then maybe we'll take the kids to do like Disney World Marathon. Although that's probably all sold out by now. I probably can't even get in. So that's some other things that I'm thinking about. But, one of the things that I'm still looking to do is find a half marathon between Chicago and CIM. So I'm looking for one in November. I know there's one in Indianapolis. But it's also the same weekend of New York. And I kind of want to go to New York to watch New York Marathon. So, I'm not sure. I'm also trying to think of like, well, maybe there's like a winter triathlon somewhere that I can do. Bring the kids. They can like go swim at a pool or something. And I'll go like just disappear for a morning and go do a sprint triathlon. So I'm kind of like wanting to do that as well. So I'm trying to look around in terms of seeing like what's available. I know, understandably, there's not a lot of winter triathlons, but saying, well, maybe like somewhere in like outside San Diego or like Southern Florida, Southern Texas, maybe there's something like that. I don't know, but a lot of things that are open, not open, but a lot of possibilities that my mind is open to. Daniel M says it's 84 in Austin and partly cloudy. Fall is finally here. Oh, that's funny. Thomas Bill says Phoenix is home of the winter tries and it's only 105 then. Okay, I'll have to look. I'll have to look to see if there's any winter triathlons in Phoenix. I do like Phoenix. Martha says check out Mountain to Beach for a fun downhill half marathon someday. There's a Ventura marathon and a half marathon on the same course in the fall. Oh, I've heard of Mountain to Beach. I'll definitely have to look at that one. Jeff Light says, I'd love to do an Avaraipa race. I think I might do a Yeti race next year, which are a local-ish, well-loved ultra race organizer. Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos from the Yeti group. I don't know if they're called like, I don't know what the full official company name is. And I think that it's interesting that like it still exists as like Yeti with like the Bigfoot kind of Yeti, and that somehow like Yeti, the drink cup manufacturer and cooler manufacturer, isn't somehow trying to like shut that down somehow, because that's what companies sometimes tend to do. But yeah, otherwise I feel like Yeti should try to get Yeti as a sponsor of the race. It'd be I guess a natural fit, but maybe then it would confuse of what the race company is. But I've seen some videos of some of those races in that area and they look brutal. They just look mean and nasty in terms of like just getting lost in the woods and it being like very uncomfortably hot and humid. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. Maybe. Adam says I should look for a winter duathlon, a run, bike, run, no swimming. But the thing is, I want to work on the swimming. So that's where I feel like I'd be even interested in a swimming race, like just swimming, or a swim run. They don't really do swim bikes. That's not a thing, is it? But maybe a swim run. I could do that. I just want to, I'm really bad at the swimming. So I just want to be able to make sure I like stay close to the little progress that I have made, which is clearly all psychological and not physical, because I'm no better of a physical swimmer than I was when I started. But I think just getting over like some of the panic in the water, I think is something I want to do. And I'm kind of liking it now. So it's like, I want to make sure I don't let that slip. And so I'm kind of looking for like a place, a time where I can do some swim racing. Adam says, I think swim bikes are called swimathlons. Like, so I went to the open water swim clinic that I went to the week before the Chicago Triathlon. They had an aquathon. I don't know if it was aquathon or aquathlon. I don't remember which one it was, but it was a swim run. But a swimathlon, swim bike. Okay, I'm gonna try it. I'll try that one. Yeah, we'll see. All right. Here's one thing. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, guys, but because I'm going to finish all the rest of what's in these because they're delicious. But the other thing is I got to get ready to pick up the kids. But tomorrow, I'm not going to do a live stream because I'm going to try and go to a trail. I'm trying not to cross state borders for COVID restriction reasons. And I also don't want to make like a weekend trip out of it. So I'm going to I'm driving out to Starved Rock tomorrow, try to explore some of the trails. I got some trail shoes and some fall clothes. It might be too hot for the fall clothes, but some stuff that I want to test out. And so I'm going to try and hit some trails. They're not local, but try to hit some trails that are not going to be paved. I don't know how much elevation gain there is going to be. I don't think there's going to be a ton, but I think it should be an interesting adventure. But because of that, I'm going to have to drive to get there, run around a little bit, factor in a lot of time for getting lost, and then try to make it back in time to pick up the kids. So probably not going to be able to do a live stream tomorrow. So I'll cancel it for tomorrow. The next time I'll see you guys live is on Wednesday. In the meantime, tomorrow's video is going to be about how much I hate this camera. I don't hate it. I don't like to use that word, but I really dislike this GoPro Hero Max. We'll talk about how disappointing this camera has been. No matter how many times I try to give it a shot and try to make it work, it just isn't working for me. So that's where it's at. So that's what's on the agenda for the next couple of videos. All right. Until I see you guys again, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.